shoot lads, give your heart and soul. Run lads, shoot lads, give us all a go. Run lads, shoot lads, you can do it yet. Come on Newport County, oh, bang it in the net.
Hello everybody, welcome to Taff's Words. Yeah, I know we haven't been doing many of these, but you know, I was hoping that the group content, obviously with the vidcast, would be something a little bit better. So it's not just me talking, you've actually got my opinion along with a load of other opinions as well at the same time. But not to say that I'm not going to be doing any more Taff's Words when I feel like I need to weigh in with something. And the one thing I do think I need to weigh in with is the reaction to the first two games of the season from some supporters. Now, I'm going to call some of these people supporters because I've known them, a lot of them, for quite a while. I don't understand why their opinion is as bad as what it is about our manager and our players. But like I say, we're 2 games in. We got a good draw at Sutton in the first game, and that game against Walsall yesterday was probably one of the biggest examples of the ultimate smash and grab that I've ever seen in my life. It's the most one-sided game. Walsall didn't even have an attempt on target, yet they scored a goal out of something. It was one of the scrappiest goals I've ever seen. It was worse than the Northampton winner from last season at their place. I don't know what else I can really say about them as a football club. I mean, yep, their manager and assistant, or our former manager and assistant, so it's something that wasn't completely unfamiliar to us. It was the physical sort of long ball and, you know, sort of streetwise kind of football we were accustomed to when Michael Flynn was our manager. But it worked for a sense. I'm not going to criticise that because it'd be a bit hypocritical, because we did good things on the back of his playing style. Not to mention that kind of playing style is what made us so effective in the FA Cup. So I'm not going to criticise the playing style, although it did borderline go OTT with the time wasting. I'll say that much. But at the end of the day, the comments are quite frankly ridiculous. Now, I'm going to address a few of them. First of all, there's the Rowberry thing. Now, if people can't look at the style of football that we're playing, the type of football that we're playing, and some of the things that some of our players are accomplishing at the moment, that if you can't see that Rowberry is a star in the making as a manager, I mean, it's not just, the observation of fans who can understand the game and the way that he's trying to set our team up, but it's the people who I speak to in and amongst, the everyday at the football club, people who knew him at Cardiff. He is a class act. He's going to be a top manager. And if we discard him now, it'll be at our loss and somebody else's massive gain. And we'll look at it and think, maybe we should have been a little bit more patient. But to be honest with you, I don't think the board are going to listen to the cries from the fans to get rid at any time soon, because I think they know what we've got in him as a manager. Yes, he needs success to get to the next level, and I think success is pretty much just around the corner. I think by the performances that we've seen for the first 2 games, I don't see any reason why we're not going to have a good season this season. So it's going to be a competitive league for League 2. It's probably going to be even more competitive than last season, but from the people who I've spoken to, our squad has higher quality in it than last season. So that's the Rowberry part. The no-end product part, right, okay, I'll give them that one. The no-end product thing was pretty much down to, well, yesterday the no-end product was down to the defensive display we had to come up against. Now, we shouldn't have been so shocked that we had to come up against a well-organised, defensively minded team. It's a Flynn and Hatswell combination, and it's something that we've always been accustomed to. But the thing is, because they realised, we won our last game 4-0, let's go at them. They came at us in the first sort of 10 minutes. We went at them. And I think they realised quite quickly, right, we're going to need to shore things up here because these guys are going to put a few on us, because we were dangerous in the first 20 minutes. And you notice that the chances started waning out a little bit then. you know, I mean, Drysdale could have scored. I mean, you know, we had a few decent attempts, but it was a difficult condition to play in. Not obviously the weather or the environment or anything like that, but, you know, up against that kind of performance, you know, a team that think, right, the best we're going to do out of this game is a draw, because if we're open, they're going to play through us. And at first we were playing through them. So I think the end product was only lacking because of the defensive display that our opposition showed, basically. It's a difficult thing to play through when a team is parking the bus. It's very, very difficult when they're pulling out all these dirty tactics and things like that, you know, winning themselves cheap free kicks, getting away with pushes, pulls and kicks. I mean, there was about 4 or 5 instances where, you know, it was in their box. Anywhere else on the pitch is a foul, but it's not a penalty. One in particular was Drysdale being wrestled to the ground with his shirt half off. It's a penalty. Well, that's a penalty, and there's probably about at least 3 or 4 other incidents which were the same. So when you're up against that, because the referee didn't make things easy for our progression, because whenever we looked like we were getting forward reasonably well, something would happen, whether it be a cheap foul, cheap fouls in which he took ages to give them yellow cards for, so they kept doing it. So if you don't get a yellow card, right, I got another one in me, let's do it again. So the one centre-back, I can't remember his name, but he got away with about 4 or 5, and he probably should have been booked by then. And then the next thing he did was a booking in its own. It wasn't so much that he was booked because of a repeat offending type thing, but he was booked for an actual bookable offence. You know, obviously bringing down an attack, you know, whilst we were on the break. And like I say, there was about 3 or 4 in the first half. He could have been booked for either one, but he escaped it a few times, and he was able to break up a very, very strong looking attack. So when you're competing against that as well, that's always going to be extremely difficult too. Their sending off was about as much a sending off as you could ever hope to see. 2 yellow cards. The second yellow was just idiocy from the player, and he deserved his red card. So as far as the end product is concerned, that's what I'm saying about the end product. The 2 things that I was disappointed in, now this isn't going to be completely free of criticism for our team. The 2 things that I was disappointed in was the delivery from the wide areas. I thought that the balls into the box, they were very rarely beating the first man, and if they were beating the first man, they were going too far. They weren't being put into the heart of where our players were gathering, or if they were, they weren't anywhere near often enough. I think that's something that can be worked on in training, so it's not a concern of mine going forward, but it was a concern for that game. The other thing was the reluctance to shoot. Now, people saying, oh, we barely had an attempt on target. It's like, well, yeah, because we were trying to play the ball into the bloody net, more or less. And sometimes an extra pass can be effective. I just feel as though, you know, we made the wrong choice in too many occasions to make that pass when a player could have had a shot. I think the only one who really tried having a proper shot from outside the area to try and test the keeper was Mickey, but they were closing it down. I know when it comes to shooting, when you're thundering a ball at a crowd, it's difficult. When you're hitting the ball in a particular way, when you're putting a bit of dip on the ball, a bit of curve on the ball, you know, that's the way you can lift it over that group. And the thing is, if you hit it in the right way, the keeper doesn't see it until it gets over that group, and then it might be too late for them if their positioning is incorrect. So being able to hit the ball a little bit more often would have been nice to see. Get a couple more shots off on target, because I believe their keeper made 1 actual save. A lot of people say that the goal that was disallowed was offside, so I'm not going to criticise that. But to be knocking Rowberry down, to be knocking our players down, to say we've got no midfield, which is the last point that I'm going to address. The midfield, Sam Bowen, for me, is a marquee signing, and he is up there with one of the best players in the division. I believe that 100%. Aaron Wildig has been promoted twice from this, with 2 different teams from this division as a midfielder. He's that bit of experience that we were looking for. And then Scott Bennett, people say we don't have a midfield general. But I know it's one thing to say, people tend to forget about Scott Bennett. But when everybody just forgets we've got Scott Bennett, talking about we need that midfield general, we've got Scott Bennett. Simple. And then waiting in the wings, James Waite and Robbie Wilmot, of course. Plus we've also got youth prospects bursting through, like Jack Caradogan. I hope that he gets an opportunity at some point this season in that midfield, because I think he looked really good in pre-season. But apparently we could be bringing 2 players in, and they could be both of them midfielders. Or what I'd like to see is a bit more contention for up front. I know we got Bogle and Zanzara, who are going to be a great partnership. I think both of them offer 2 completely different threats. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing, what further work they can put in together for us. But Lewis Collins is obviously a very good player. And Chanka Zimba is in waiting. But I think 4 forwards, all it takes is 1 injury. We've only got 1 option, and then you get another injury. You've only got 2 options. I think we need a 5th forward, unless Will Evans is going to be used as a forward. I don't know how I feel about him as a wing back when we got the likes of Aaron Lewis and Adam Lewis sitting on the bench. So that's one thing. That's the one criticism I'll give Rowberry, maybe Will Evans isn't a wing back, more of a winger forward. I'd prefer to see him running at central defenders than trying to get the ball down the wing and get the ball in the box. So, I can't see training, so I don't know exactly what kind of strength he's shown. There's obviously a reason why Rowberry's playing him there. I just don't think it's the most effective thing for the team to play a winger at wing back when we got a very good wing back in Adam or Aaron Lewis. Then there we go. So yeah, I was really annoyed yesterday reading some of the absolute drivel coming out on the infamous county chat. Thankfully, I've been blocked by Paul Harper, so I can't see what he's put on there. But I unfortunately aren't blocked by enough people to have been able to avoid some of the crap that I've seen on there. People saying that, we're going to finish bottom half, or we'll be lucky to finish mid-table. I'm thinking, for God's sake, it's 2 games in, and we've already shown that we've got a very capable, high-quality team. So just enjoy it, for God's sake, we're playing a brand of football that we're not used to, a good brand of football. Yeah, Flynn introduced a good brand of football this season. We should have got promoted when we lost to Morecambe in the playoff final, but under Rowberry, I feel like he's developed it that bit more. As he always said, evolution, not revolution. I think he's evolved our style of football. Is it too much quality for League Two? Because League Two is, you don't get a lot of great football in League Two, but I'm finding that the teams are improving. So are we hitting at the right time to be playing that brand of football, potentially? But I suppose time will tell. But the thing is, it's entertaining football. There's a reason why we were losing games at home, but our attendances were still going up. We may have been losing the games, but the football was entertaining and the atmosphere was up because of it. The better the football, the better the buzz, the better the atmosphere, and then the players can feed off that. Yeah, it fell flat last season, but personally, I think if somebody's taken over during a following season and they haven't had the summer to prepare their team, you can't judge someone. I always said the same about Warren Feeny. Warren Feeny only got 1 summer. Terry Butcher was different because he came in during the summer and had the summer and got rid of so many good players and then put us in the position that he'd put us in. Warren Feeny, we shouldn't really have counted his failings from the season before, because you've got your own players now. This is your team and your style, and you've got a pre-season to prepare it. I think the same goes for Rowberry. Everyone says it's the 10-game rule for us. Personally, I think Rowberry's shown enough class and enough pedigree to prove that he's worth more than that, and it's going to come good before that anyway. So I've got no problem whatsoever. So hopefully people will wise up, understand, taking in what I've said. It's my opinion. I don't expect people to agree with it. I don't. But at the same time, people can't be expecting everybody else to agree with them. Just if someone comes down and says to you, I don't agree with that, you can't go, oh, but that's my opinion. Yeah, so my opinion is that your opinion is shit. And that is my opinion of a lot of people's opinions on County Chat. Their opinion is shit. Because I remember when I used to drink and I used to watch the games and I never used to take them in. But since I've been sober, I've been able to take the games in and analyse them myself as I'm watching. And I see a lot more than I used to. So I can only say that people who drink a lot before the game, if they come in and say, oh, we were shit today, it's like, well, how many pints did you have? 5, 6 before the game? Yeah, are you really going to watch the game that much? Are you really going to take it in that much? I don't know, there's a massive difference between having a few beers and being sober. And I'm proof that from quitting the drink, that I can take in more of the game and understand it better than I used to be able to do when I used to have a few pints before the game. Simple as. It's just a fact for me. So there we go. Anyway, I've rambled on for over 15 minutes now. Yeah, great to have a Taff's word out there, and I've got another one coming up now in a second, so no, that's about a completely different thing altogether, so look out for that. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. Let's get some content on the go, content suggestions, should we say, because whether it be for the vidcast, whether it be for Taff's word, we want to have you guys raise some talking points so we have something to talk about. I mean, we can come up with our own talking points, but you're the viewers and we want to put into our content what you want to see. So make sure that you have your say and put something in. All right. Thanks for watching all. Cheers for now. Cheerio. And as always, up the county.